Hello, guys. So today I'm going to be talking about how to solve problems fast. And it doesn't matter where you are in life or business, sometimes you need to figure out ways to solve problems as quickly as possible. And there's two types of thinking. There's two types of thinking to solve problems, and most people are thinking about one type of way of thinking to solve a problem. And sometimes that starts to bog you down with a lot of information that you start to gather. And that information is called that type of thinking is called convergence type thinking, which pretty much means if, let's say, for example, what does a brick do? Well, the answer to that bricks builds the foundations or the walls of a house. That's convergent thinking. That's only one answer. But when you want to solve a problem fast, you want to have multiple answers to potential problems. And the opposite of convergent type thinking is divergent thinking. So this is where you start to be creative and you set a time limit and you set a fear component to uh, the problem. For example, I've got some examples here. Okay, so if I had to sell 10 Porsches in the next 48 hours, or else the boss will take all my clothes and anything on my back, how would you be selling those 10 Porsches? And if you have to think straight off the bat, selling 10 Porsches in the next 48 hours, that's very difficult to do. So the first thing that you would come off in your head, how would you do it? You wouldn't do marketing. You wouldn't do cold calls. You wouldn't be reaching out to people. You wouldn't be asking people on the streets, because if you want to sell at least even one Porsche, you would need to find people who um, qualify, and those that generally qualify in your head, you would be thinking they would have money, they probably would have a Porsche already, and thirdly, that maybe they'll be interested that they'll have to be interested in the buying window. So what I would do is I would call all my pre-existing customers that have bought from me before, and those are my leads. They bought it before, and also they qualify because they like Porsches. Why not have a second one? And thirdly, this is the third thing that makes it a bit harder. Do they qualify to buy it right now? Maybe if they haven't bought in a year or two, maybe. But if they bought a couple of days ago, they may not qualify. But this is when you can start to think about, if a problem was presented to you right now, put a time frame, as in the next 24 to 48 hours or straight away. How would you quickly solve it? Otherwise, that's it. There's a big consequence at the end, like losing everything, like all your clothes, and you walking butt naked back home. So there are ways to construct a problem just to make you start to focus really hard and start to open up some of your divergent type thinking, and not really turn to convergent type thinking, because that way you're going to be bogged down to a lot of potential solutions that might not lead anywhere. Okay, here's another one. So a lot of this is for all those people that don't know when to start anything like a business or pursuing a hobby and turning it into a professional career. If I had a gun to my head right now, what business would you start to create? So, right off the bat, with this type of question, I wouldn't be thinking about something that I'm passionate about, because you're trying to turn your passion into a career or something professional. But one thing that this equation does not, this type of thinking does not allow, is it doesn't solve what the market wants. Because let's say you are passionate about playing an instrument, okay? But how do you know what you're playing is what the market wants? I.e., have you asked or have you uploaded anything on YouTube, or even tried playing some music in a live situation? And has anyone stopped by and given you money? So this is the difference between divergent and convergent in terms of what to do in a business. You want to reverse engineer this type of thinking. So you would want to find a problem first, see how many people have a similar problem, okay? And then you work backwards and ask them whether or not this type of problem is something that's really painful or that they pay to get it solved. Because sometimes problems aren't worth paying for, and it's just a petty type of problem, and no one really cares if it's consistent or they're in their life all the time. But if it's a really painful problem and a lot of people want it solved, that's the thing that you should be picking for your business to create. And that's where it should be starting if you don't know what to think about right now. So start with the problem, figure out if it's a big problem to solve, big enough for multiple people to pay you, and then that way you can work backwards in terms of solving the problem versus having solving the problem first or having a passion first, and then setting all that up, not knowing whether or not people would want to buy or purchase that product or service you're selling. Okay. Another one is, well, a lot of people in this situation. If my rent was due, or if you had a credit card of $2,000 that was owing in the next month, what kind of online job would you start? Okay. And this one I feel like is resonates to a lot of people because there's going to be a situation in their life where they're living life paycheck to paycheck, and based on modern in today's society, a lot of people aren't keeping up with inflation. So therefore, online work would probably be the best way to go because you can leverage your location. You can do this at home, and you can also leverage your time. You can work outside working hours. So that way, you can really push hard into finding something online, like for example, appointment setting, where you ask someone providing us an online service to see if they can help with their inbound messages to help book their calendars to eventually book them on a call to sell a high ticket offer. That's an option. There's so many options that you can do online to earn that extra cash flow in order to pay off that debt or that credit card. Okay. And the last one, how to solve problems fast. Now, this is not for everyone, but I think a good way to put your headspace into this is if I had to lose 10 kilos in the next month or my girlfriend would dump me, how would you go doing it? And this is more for people who they need something urgent, an urgency, an emotional urgency to get them out of the house, stop eating junk food, and to start doing something. I mean, a good option would be to go to the gym and start losing weight, but then there's so many friction points from getting out of the house to going to the gym. I think going to the gym is my favorite and the best thing for a lot of people to start doing almost every day, maybe having one day rest day. But that's just for me. And some or most people, they would find a lot of friction points into doing this. So if I was other people and thinking about if gym wasn't for them, what else could you do? And I'm thinking you can probably hit two birds with one stone with this problem. You could get a physical job, or you can go start knocking on people's doors and ask whether or not they need their dishes washed or their lawns mowed. Um, but I think you can get paid as well as lose weight at the same time. And on top of that, you can stack the fact that if you're mowing the lawn 8 hours a day constantly and not having a rest, be careful that you don't hurt yourself. But you can also be fasting at the same time. You could fast from morning all the way to dinner time, hit that 9 hours of work. You're getting both sweat, losing a bit of water mass, which you would hydrate with on a constant day to day, but you'd only be eating at dinner time. So you'd be fasting, which would help lose weight. You'd be doing something physical like mowing the lawn or any household duties, or if you get into a trade. And also you'd be getting money on top of that. So I bet your girlfriend will be super happy that you're both doing something, getting money for the bills, as well as cutting some pounds if that's what you have to do. And that way you don't have to go to the gym, because one thing the gym doesn't do that this idea does, there's not much friction point, and you can't get paid at the gym unless you're a personal trainer, which is another option. But again, so many friction points up to getting a certification and then looking for clients. I think looking for client straight away doing a side hustle or something physical in your neighborhood, and you work heaps of hours so that so you're not distracted by your breakfast and lunchtime. You work all the way till dinner, and you fast till then, only one meal a day. You can definitely lose 10 pounds really, really quickly. So, just a quick video for those that are struggling with how to solve a problem fast. In order to if you have a problem, put a time frame on it, and the time frame should be within a month or a day, depending on how quickly you can achieve that goal. I think if it was a money type of problem, put it for a month, or a weight type of problem, put it for a month and see the change, and really put a time frame on it. And also, you want to put an urgency behind it. So all these types of problems, there's an urgency. So for the girlfriend one, you get dumped, you get heartbroken. That's an urgent thing. That's an urgency that you do not want to be heartbroken. If your rent is due, you're going to get kicked out of the house. If you had a gun to your head, that's your life at risk, okay? And if you were to lose all your clothes, that's your dignity on the line, okay? So these can be actually realistic problems that a lot of people are facing. But if you're in a cushy, comfortable position, you really put a bit of urgency and a bit of time pull frame into it, okay? Into your goal setting. That way, you can figure out with divergent type of thinking, without the cost of this type of dignity loss or life loss, that you can start to think divergently to have a solution to these types of problems, where I feel like when you're in a comfortable type of situation, it's really hard to generate these types of ideas. So thanks for watching. I hope this has helped anyone with any problems that they feel like they're stuck in, or they're finding that their problems are slow to see any change. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.